Hey guys, and welcome to Honeycomb. My name is Kayo, and today we're talking about one of my favorite sneakers, the Air Vapormax 2021 Flyknit. Now, if you're not familiar with Vapormaxes, they're kind of a polarizing pair of sneakers. Some people love them, some people hate them. Some of that is about the aesthetics, and some of that is about how the shoe feels on foot. Some people just found them uncomfortable over the years. But the thing is that the Vapormax is actually one of my favorite pairs of shoes because they eventually became one of my most comfortable pairs of shoes because it's Flyknit, and then because once it breaks in, the insole and the outsole, the midsole, really become bouncy and cushiony, but it would take some time. Now with this pair, I think Nike's made an exceptional step forward to try and make it more comfortable off the bat, have more stepping comfort. And I think a big part of that is that this sneaker is starting to move away from being a performance first sneaker and now being a lifestyle first sneaker. So can you use them for running? Yes, you can. It is the Vapormax outsole and midsole were designed as running shoes, right? As lightweight training running shoes for that forward and long run movements. But they've taken some steps to increase the stepping comfort, and let's go over them now as we're talking about the sneaker. So this is a Vapormax 2021 in the particle gray and cerulean colorway. It's 40% recycled, which is a little bit of a step down from last year's, like 70-80% recycled, but it has less parts. So the way that that's calculated is percentage recycled by weight. And because this doesn't have the heavy fly ease system that used a lot of plastic in the last one, they don't get to attribute the weight from those plastic parts to this new sneaker. So it ends up being less heavy in totality and thus less recycled by weight. If you're following, I hope you are, it does make sense. So basically, it is possible to have a sneaker that is still very sustainable but have a lower recycled by weight, and you'll see that with the Space Hippie 04, which even at the time was Nike's most sustainable sneaker up until that point, and to the best of my knowledge, maybe even up until now, because they haven't said that about any other sneakers. And you'll see that a lot of the styling, the colors that were on that Space Hippie line from 01 to 04, had this same space yarn Flyknit. And would you compare it to non-recycled Flyknit? It is not as soft and not as cushiony off the bat. But once you've been wearing it a while and it kind of molds to your foot and warms up to your foot, it does get that level of comfort eventually. Now, while the sneakers like this, I just want to point out that they did some nice mismatching of the colors. So here, the swooshes on the lateral and medial side are different. And then here on the lacing systems, you have some nice alternating colors. So basically, you have the same colors on the medial sides and the same colors on the, the outer side, the lateral side of the sneakers. You got some of that nice ghost green on the back, green around the swooshes, and that's about it for colors. You also have some green on the insole, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Another major change that they made with this 2021 edition is that they brought back laces. And the laces on the Air Vapormax look very traditional. They brought back a lacing system. It's not flywire anymore, but it has this nice oval style lace that somewhere here around the part where you tie it actually becomes a flat lace. And I've never seen a lace like this before. And it's smart because that means that the oval laces are really easy to cinch up and they don't get all twisted, but the flat laces stay tied longer. So this is a very thoughtful thing that they've done. All right, now that we've done talking about the visuals, let's start talking about comfort. And the first thing that I'll talk about is kind of the heel support and the heel counter. So you have this plastic TPU heel counter that goes around the outside and it's held together by this blue fuse. And then on the inside, you actually have this neoprene like heel counter on the inside. I don't know if you can see that. So you have this neoprene on the inside, and that goes right up against your foot and creates a lot of comfort on the inside right away. Before, they used to do this with a kind of like a stiff, I don't know how it was done, but it felt like a stiff board that was on the inside, like a layer of leather or plastic that ran on the inside. And now what they did is they just put the TPO on the outside to create the support. And then on the inside, it's like a huarachi or a harachi, depends how you want to say it. but that results in a very, very comfortable sneaker. The next thing that they did for great step-in comfort is they changed the insole. Now, I don't know if they did this in last year's sneaker because I didn't have that, but this year they actually changed the insole to this ortholite style insole. But it's not exactly ortholite, I think. There's nothing on it that says ortholite, but it's made of this compressed, recycled foam that's made from, I believe this is Nike Grind, the material that they sweep up actually from the floor, as that the machines have dropped from shaping other products. So in butchering, they call this sawdust, right? Which is when you cut the meat and then the stuff that falls from the saw blade is the sawdust, and they actually use that for ground beef and hamburgers and stuff like that. So this is basically hamburger as an insole, and it is very soft. Now, the previous version of VaporMaxes used kind of this almost like a styrofoam style stiff insole, and the way that worked is it had a break-in time, and it would warm up to your foot and actually acquire the shape of your foot, of the sole of your foot. And that was a technology that we've seen in other sneakers, especially basketball sneakers, like I think the Kobe 8 and 9 used that kind of insole. The problem with that is that when you tried on the sneaker in the store, you wouldn't find it comfortable right away because you were expecting when you put your foot in, you see all of that air, right? You see all of that air, it should be super comfortable. But you would put your foot in and it wouldn't be comfortable right away. So this is an effort, I think, to make the step-in comfort a lot more upgraded or immediate as soon as you put on the sneaker. So that's the second thing that they did to upgrade the step-in comfort. The first is that neoprene heel counter inside your, through the collar area. The second is that new insole that is made of foam. They were all foam, but this one is a softer foam. Next, if you flip the shoe over, you actually see here, this is the VaporMax outsole and midsole. And I kind of buried the lead because this is kind of the most important part of any VaporMax. The idea that the entire sole is made out of one giant air unit, or one giant air unit system, I should say. And one of the things that they've added to this that I did not see on previous versions of the VaporMax is that little blue section in there. Can you see that? So that blue section is a layer of foam that's in there. So I don't know what kind of foam that is. It looks to me like some sort of polyurethane, which is great. You have this extra layer of foam down there between your foot, actually between the strobel board, which is this white thing over here that the shoe is actually sewn to, the thing that holds the upper to the outsole and midsole. Between them, they've inserted this small layer of foam, and that does wonders for step-in comfort. Like as soon as you put the sneaker on, you do feel that your steps are cushioned right away, and it helps distribute some of the pressure that's kind of here on the outsole as you're stepping on things. So it's a small upgrade. It seems minor, but it does wonders for step-in comfort, at least immediately. And I thought that was interesting because I've never seen anyone talk about this on any VaporMax, whether it be this VaporMax or previous versions of it. No one's ever really pointed out, hey, there's foam in there now. So it might have been there before, but I am noticing it. That's probably what I'm gonna say, is that in this review, I'm noticing that, and kudos to Nike because it does do quite a bit for the sneaker. And finally, the star of the show is, of course, the VaporMax unit. And you can see this is a VaporMax unit that they actually upgraded last year for the 2020 version. However, I did not get to get a copy or get a pair of the 2020 version. This is my first pair of this particular outsole air unit system. And taking a look at it, what they really did here is that, in the past, you would have a unit here, a unit here, a unit here, a unit, and it was kind of just divided up, kind of like a spinal cord, so that it would flex this way. And then there were channels that ran between the air units, those individual pods. There were channels that helped balance the air, like there are in this one. But the big step that they made in this sneaker is that they've actually made the pods overlap in kind of this horseshoe pattern, kind of like staples laid out, and especially here on the heel unit over the arch, reaching into the midfoot and forefoot. And what this does is that it allows for pressure to be distributed among the pods a little bit more, I guess, creates a smoother transition between the pods. And that is the major jump forward with this sneaker. Well, at least with this particular Air unit versus the original VaporMax Air unit. And with that, that kind of wraps up all of our discussion about this sneaker. Now, the Air VaporMax 2021 fits pretty much true to size, which for me, I'm a size 9.5. I bought a 9.5. It might be different for you. If you have a chance to try on a VaporMax, it's not too hard. You can order them on Nike.com and there are returns. So if it doesn't fit, you can send it back to Nike.com, I think for 30 days, at least here in the Philippines. But if you have the opportunity to go to a store or try it on your size in the VaporMax, do try them on because some people do find them a little bit too narrow. I do not. I think that they are very much true to size, but that might be different for you because all feet are different. Aesthetically, I really love the Space Hippie aesthetic. I like the way it feels on my feet. I love the way Flyknit feels on my feet, and I've been a very big fan of the VaporMaxes throughout the years. I would consider myself a VaporMax aficionado, if you would. And I think that this sneaker is a home run. I like that it is lighter. I like that they brought back the laces. I do kind of miss the flywire. That was a feature that I think not everyone likes, but I particularly like the flywire. But all of the things that I miss on my previous sneakers, which is pretty much just the flywire, I think is made up for in the fact that it has this nice recycled upper and that redistributed outsole and midsole. Now, you should know that I think it's 70% of Air units are actually made out of recycled plastic, repurposed plastic bottles. And that's true of all Flyknit as well. I think that it's something like every Flyknit upper uses at least 4 standard water bottles in the construction of the upper of a VaporMax Flyknit. So as far as sustainability goes, it's a great choice. All of that, of course, part of Nike's move to zero. And that's probably the thing I want to talk about last, is that if you see a recycled by weight number that seems lower than you think it should be, just remember that different things weigh differently. So what that means is that even if you're only dealing with an Air unit that is, mostly recycled in 60-70%, that 30% accounts for a lot of the weight of the sneaker. So that's the thing you need to think of when you're thinking about it. It looks to me like this TPU in the back is not recycled, and that might be accounting for a lot of the weight as well. All right, so that's our review of the Nike Air VaporMax 2021 Flyknit. One of my favorite beaters, a nice pair of shoes that you can get. Honestly, great on discount. Great when they come to end of season discounts. So these are going to start showing up. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. I would love to know your thoughts and your questions. Ask them in the comment section below, and please do subscribe. It goes a long way for us. Follow along on Instagram. I'm at Kayo Cosio. Instagram, follow at Honeycomb Manila, which is our studio here in Double Dragon Plaza. And follow Ajima Mag, which is our blog where we talk about a lot of this stuff and street culture and streetwear and street art as well. And with that, I wish you guys good luck. I wish you guys good health. I wish you guys great pickups and great sneakers. If you have questions, ask them. I'd love to answer them. My name is Kayo. Peace.